Hello, bro. So we got some more books. Some of these are from the other day, and we'll probably go through those first. Why not? Not sure why the guy at the thrift store the other day gave me 5 books for I think $1.33, but who knows? I mean, paperbacks were 25 cents each, but hardcovers were 95, so it should have been at least $3 or $4. But for whatever reason, and it could have been the fact that he was very quiet. He put his head down when he said hello, and I don't know. Packing for Mars, The Curious Science of Life in the Void, Mary Roach. Best-selling author of Stiff. I've got numerous books of hers. I think at least 3 or 4 of her different books. Bonk, Stiff, Bonk, Stiff, Spook, whatever, so. Might as well have this one too. Anyways, don't even care what it's about. Fresh Taste of Philosophy, Socrates Cafe by Christopher Phillips. Christopher Phillips is a man on a mission to revive the love of questions that Socrates inspired long ago in ancient Athens, like a Johnny Appleseed with a master's degree. The Island of Lost Maps, a true story of cartographic crime. Oh, I didn't know it was a crime story. It's a true crime. No, it's current affairs. The Island of Lost Maps tells the story of a curious crime spree, the theft of scores of valuable century-old maps. All right, so kind of is a crime book. This fucker not. You're not focusing. Is that what you're not doing, bro? Can you not focus, bro? My hand looks focused. There we go. I don't know. Anyway, I have like 4 or 5 different books on maps now, which is kind of embarrassing, but in my defense, it took about 25 years to find those 5 books. So, The Knights Templar by Stephen Howarth. I don't know how many books on the Knights Templar I have. It's got to be close to 20 at this point. Don't really know much about Shockingly, I don't know anything about the Knights Templar, really, except they're basically part of the Illuminati or something like that. And now I have another copy. I don't know what I'm going to do with. Eventually, I'll sell all these books at a bookstore. Camelot, a collection of original Arthurian stories, edited by Jane Yolen. Originally, I thought that this book was... I don't know what I thought it was. King Arthur. I don't know if these are just like stories from... Yeah, so Lauren Yolen does have one. Terry Pratchett. All right, so this is kind of what I thought it was. I just was hoping it wasn't old classic. There's a freaking page missing. Better not be a page missing. Not that I'm much into King Arthur, but I have some books on the Arthur, man. Rite Aid, $3.50. What the hell? I didn't even know Rite Aid sold books. This Ozzy. It's Aussie, bruv. Alright, on to the books I got today. This one was an afterthought as I was trying to collect 15 books so I could run the total up to $7.95 again. And that way when they said, Would you like to round up? I look like a good person when I say, oh, yes, yes, I'll do it gladly. 5 cents. I know it's terrible, but I don't believe in that pay it forward. I'm already paying it forward by buying books from you. Very rude to ask somebody to round it up. I mean, could you imagine the perplexed look on their face if I said round it down? I know I've said this numerous times, but it's offensive every time they ask me. Even worse when a place like Taco Bell asks. I'm like, never, no. This is what it said, a survey. Agricultural survey. Settlement in Nankin Township began a little earlier than Canton in 1817. This is the area I'm in, Nankin Township. So they only concentrate on like 5 or 10 different homesteads. I think it's 3, 6, 9, 11 different surveys of different old residences. At some point I'll find a page that actually shows the residences. I don't know when this book is from. I guess I could have looked at the beginning. Anyways, it shows the census. There's one of the houses. Awful reproduction of the house. But, I mean, it's a nice survey. 1999, so it's 25 years ago. It'd be nice if they did all the old houses in this area, but I guess I don't even know why they did it, but I don't know what it's for. But it's some great information. If I ever come across one of these people, and I know of the Truesdales, which are mentioned in here, I have come across them in researching Nankin, so it'll come in use at some point. Maybe I should just go with these books instead of these music books. Folk Scene I picked up at a estate sale, along with these 2 phone books, which I'm not going to count as among the books, even though they're part of the books. Folk Scene, which I was hoping had folk lore in it, along with folk songs, but it doesn't. But it's basically was free, along with this Pabst Blue Ribbon vintage box. Not my leg, but the box. This book I got, paid $1.29 for it, which is more than I'll usually pay for a paperback, but very interesting title, Black Child Care, 1976, I believe. And the St. Louis Public Library had it in their black collection, which is interesting too. It's a pocket book from 76, and there's some interesting stuff in there. The first book to treat it in a comprehensive manner, the unique situation of growing up black in America. And when I opened the back here, the first thing I saw was white girls dating. And there was some interesting, to us, they would be laughable, but I'm sure in 76 they weren't so laughable. I have a 16-year-old who is very militant against whites, but only dates white girls. Isn't this hypocritical? What does it mean? He protesteth too much. Your son is probably deep down not really secure about his blackness. It might be going to extremes of black militancy to cover negative feelings about blacks and personal feelings of racial self-hatred. His attraction to whiteness is evident in his compulsive pursuit of white girls and the exclusion of blacks. Such love-hatred reactions towards whites are not uncommon among blacks. You should try to help your son face his true feelings. He may well tell you that he is punishing Charlie. The hell's Charlie? White male power structure. The fuck am I missing here? Who is Charlie? Is that his name? Charlie? Some things in the neighborhood of bullshit should lay that one to rest and make it possible to talk about real feelings. If he wants to date white girls, that's his business. But you want him to hide behind, but you don't want him to hide behind stuff. Who the fuck is Charlie? There was another one about masturbation, how it could make you walk. Funny. Is that cats fighting or is that a... No. It's the cops chasing someone. I don't know. No, I think it is cats fighting. Anyway, that's that book. Carthage was what comes after the fall of Rome. I can't even pretend to read this. This is the first comprehensive history of Carthage to be published in English for over 50 years. The author made a special visit to the most important archaeological sites in North Africa to collect material for the ruins of Carthage lie within. Yeah, it's Carthage. Pelican book. Kitties are fighting. Or maybe he's just out there. No, they're fighting. Let me go look at this. It's definitely cats fighting. Or at least arguing. The Adventure Club, Ghost in the Grand. I'm guessing it's the Grand Hotel in Mackinac. On Mackinac Island. Signed copy. Jonathan Rand. He's the one that does the Michigan and American Chillers. Can never go wrong with a signed copy of any book, especially by a popular author. How do you spank a porcupine? The engaging account of a New England family and their adopted porcupine. Don't stick your book. Why? All right. Few people would respond. The tiny orphan introduced himself abruptly by embedding his quills in the rude's dog. In spite of his display of unfriendliness, they could not bring themselves to abandon the motherless animal, and so began a remarkable relationship. Bros with a porcupine. It's funny too, because before I went to that thrift store, I was visiting my mother, and I told her something. I said something about a porcupine, and then I found that frickin' book. Cruelty and Civilization, The Roman Games, Roland Oguet, Barnes & Noble edition. I like the Barnes & Noble books. And this is basically just as you can imagine, about the Roman games and brutality of it. Something that's interesting. Great intrigue, but something I'll never read. But if I have to, I have access now without going to a library. A Place on Earth by Gwen Frostic. I don't think I've ever found one of her postcards in her books, but apparently they're not that uncommon. Usually these are from like the 60s, 70s, I believe. 62. Michigan author who just made these woodcuts and added a few little snippets of musings, poetry, whatever you want to call it. And rivers and pools, swamplands, and people love these books for some reason. And they are bountiful. I find them everywhere, and they're usually, on average, worth about $10 a piece. Get a signed one, probably 15. But yeah, you get enough combined, get 10 of them, which I probably have now. Sell them for $100. paid $2 for this and in the state sale, which is more than I usually pay. But I said 10 of them, I can make $100. So you figure if I paid 10, $12 and make 100, it's a good steal. So there's nothing I can do with these books, but like I said, they're interesting enough in that they're local history. Babylon Revisited and Other Stories by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Be honest with you, there's only a few F. Scott Fitzgerald books that I've ever heard of. Tender is the Night, The Great Gatsby, and I guess This Side of Paradise I've heard of, but the others I've never heard of, never read anything by him. Never wanted to, but since I've never heard this title before and it's an older copy and it's in pretty good, damn good condition, I got it. Doubt it's worth anything, but like I said, as the cats continue the caterwaul outside. Agatha Christie, The Mysterious Affair at Styles. Vintage book. Not in great shape. 50 cents though, so can't beat it. I finally opened a thrift store. This will go into it. Not a thrift store, but a bookstore. Politically Correct Holiday Stories. I could have swore I had this book, but my records show I don't, so maybe I do. I don't know what the hell I have. Don't care what I have. Got about 4 or 5 different books by this author, which is James Finn Garner. And now I've got another. If I don't have it, or do have it, what's it matter? A Curious History of Vegetables. Aphrodisiac, I can't say it. Aphrodisiacal and healing properties, folktales, garden tips, and recipes. Wolf D. Storrell. I think it was pumpkins I looked up where I was shocked that apparently Christopher Columbus was the first, I guess, non-Native American to ever see the pumpkin. Is that true? Is it true? December 3rd, 1492, on the island of Cuba, Christopher Columbus became the first European, to lay his eyes on a pumpkin field. He knew at once that the opulent pumpkin plant with its big rough leaves and tendrils, yellow gold blossoms, and rotund orange fruit is an Indian variety of the cucurbita, or the curbita, the melons and gourds of the old world. That was interesting. Could come in use for other research too, bruv. This dude, what the hell is he doing? South American Tupi Guarani Indians exhibited in France in 1619. The tuber is named after them. Anyways, interesting book. Has some value, but it's also because no one buys it. At least not on eBay. The Cambridge Introduction to Shakespeare's Poetry. Usually I don't get books like these, but this one's in pretty good shape. And since I have some books of Shakespeare's poetry, which isn't extensive, I think it's basically the sonnets, right? Or was there more? Anyway, can't hurt to have it. 50 cents. That cat's still out there wailing. Modern Music and Musicians. As you can see, it's got the old font and the old look for a good reason, because it's from 1918 along with the other 4 volumes. Main reason why I got these, well, I guess I would have got them regardless of these, but once I saw this guy basically wrote some biographical stuff, this Mr. Boyd Sawyer, Esquire, I assume that means he's a lawyer, maybe not. From Bucharest, is that how you say it? Bucharest, Ohio. He also has some other stationery from that insurance company, I believe, Phoenix Insurance of London. I think the other one's some that he used is from Philadelphia, but we'll see when we get to it. But yeah, he wrote out the Mozart's biography on here, just a brief biography, of course. Not sure when he wrote it, but I think he died in 73, so it was before then. And as you'll see, Library of Boyd F. Sawyer, 1922. They were printed in, I believe, 1918. At least that's what I thought it said. Copyright 1918. Minimally, they're 1922, so over 100 years old. Just some. This looks like biography stuff. Other ones have music, scores. Oh, this cat shut up. Rubinstein. Well, by the time I get done here, they can start their fight. See if I can find the other papers. This one's definitely backwards. Not that you need to see another guy. They're fighting. It's getting more animated out there. I believe it's my faithful cat, Fluff. Boyd. That's not the one. Where's those papers? There they are. I think it's a bio of Grieg, Edvard Grieg from the Alliance Insurance Company of Philadelphia. The great-grandfather of Edvard Grieg was a Scotchman who settled at Berg in Norway. Anyway, there's more of those. I don't know if it's the same biography that's in here or is it just a addendum to what he has in these books. And where's the ones that have the music scores? Maybe those were the ones back there. One of them had music scores. They're there. Nah. You probably saw that. I just missed it. All right. I guess that's all. Let's go see what the cats are doing. Goodbye.